Hello. Today we're going to show you how to do an Adobe effect texture on a wall using drywall compound. This is a close-up of this to show the effect that we're going to try to make. This is a finished product which has been painted once with a tan base, then gone back over with a chocolate brown mixed with a glaze. The glaze is mixed 3:1 and then painted on and wiped off to give and leave the darkness in the crevices of the texture. Then after that, it's actually got a clear put over the top of that to make it more durable. But today we're going to show you how to make the texture itself using the drywall mix. Okay, for those of you that have paneling in your house and you want to do this texture effect on the paneling, first you need to come in and fill the grooves in the paneling with drywall. And all we done here was take the drywall mud, spread it over the grooves, and raked it back off and just went back over it. This is just the raw finish. We'll come back in here and lightly sand this to get rid of some of the high spots of the drywall left from troweling it. From that point, we'll take and put a coat of primer sealer over the top of this before we start doing the texture effect. Here's what the wall looks like with the primer sealer on it and ready to apply the texture. This is just a typical brand of primer sealer. Put it on one coat. That's all you need. Here's what it looks like when it's dried. It has a little bit of roughness in some of the areas, and what you would need to do before you start your base coat paint is come back in with either something like one of these sponge sanding deals to knock off some of this high roughness, and it's going to take nothing more than that right there. Just a little bit. You don't want to sand off your texture. Just a little rough edges that's here, there, and yonder. Okay, here's all the product you need to do this texture effect. We're using a pre-mixed all-purpose joint compound. You can use anything you want to use. You can mix your own. I like this because it's ready to go. This is called a margin trowel. You can get that at any of the home supply stores, and it's ready to put the mud in. And we're found that this kind of spoon works great for dipping the mud out of the bucket and putting it in your tray, or you can just use your margin trowel, but it takes a little longer to fill up your tray. That's all the equipment you need to do this texture. Okay, here we've got some mud in the pail. You might want more than this, but I was ready out, so you're just going to get some on this trowel, come up to the wall, and just splotch it on the wall. Move it around, get some more, put it on the wall. And the trick here is what I would call consistent randomness. You want to do the same thing over and over, but you want it to be to vary a little in where you want it. You want to leave some gaps in it, places where you're actually seeing through to the original surface. And your working area, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about that size, 18 inches or so square at a time. And as this kind of starts to dry, if you see some areas, you can take the edge of this and just lightly go over and knock down some of the trowel marks, which it also gives it a little more of the drag effect of the Adobe. Just lightly going back and forth over it. Get some on your trowel. Do a few spots where you put it on kind of thick. Then you come back and kind of spread that out after you get it done kind of thick. Some places are going to be thicker than others, and that's how you want the effect to look. And all this takes is a little little time and practice, you might get a scrap piece of sheetrock and try this on until you kind of get the technique down. But it's pretty simple and goes pretty fast. In little to no time, you have the wall completely covered. The thing about it is, if you don't like an area, you can come back in. Say that area right there didn't have enough, just put a little more in it, drag it around, and get the look you want. And that's all there is to making this texture.
Yep.
Awesome.